Hey everybody, Zach here, and today on Why I Made This, we've got the Mjolnir. The first Mythos pedal, and really our most popular pedal. So, we're going to talk about it. Just like every other Why I Made This, we're going to talk about why I made it, what's the sound, who's it for, and are there any caveats. So why did I make this? Flashback to 2010. I wanted a Klon Centaur, but I didn't have money for that. Back then, they were not as expensive as they are now, but still, by pedal standards, they were pretty pricey. But I'd been making pedals for a little while and found out that there were circuit boards floating around of that circuit. I got some. I made one for myself and some friends, and so in October of 2010, I released the Mjolnir into the world. And by release, I mean I made myself one and a friend one. But slowly but surely, it started to catch on. I had friends in Nashville that wanted them. I was making them pretty consistently for a nobody from Sparta, Tennessee. And it was really exciting. And really, this is how I got into the pedal game. It was remarkable seeing the brand grow and people get excited for what we were doing because of this little circuit. I dove in with that little circuit board to learn how it worked, how to modify it, how to make it more of my own. And I think today, this circuit stands apart from a lot of other pedals of this type in the market. And it does a really good job at capturing the personality of its heritage while sounding different and being really useful in a lot of situations. So, what's the sound? The sound is, of course, based off that classic Klon Centaur circuit. But the standard Mjolnir these days is pretty different. We've reduced the low mids, increased the bass in both the clean portion of the circuit and the gain portion, because there's really two different parts of the circuit. We've reduced the overall amount of treble. We've changed the taper of the gain, and it has some specific clipping diodes that sound really good driven. And probably the most interesting thing we've done is remove the charge pump. One of the most famous parts and kind of mystical parts of the classic Centaur circuit is that it has a charge pump that takes 9 volts and spits out 18 so that it runs really clean and you're getting just pure clipping from the diodes itself. The op amps really aren't breaking up, but when you remove it, the op amps start to drive a little bit and it gives you a little bit smoother sound. It works better, in my opinion, as an overdrive than it does with the charge pump. So all around, there's just a little bit more flexibility from this, and we're really happy with that change because A, it's great sonically, and B, you can't blow it up really anymore. We used to fix a lot of these. But in a nutshell, that's the overall sound. Now, who is this for? If you like your guitar and your amp sound, then a Mjolnir is for you. It takes that sound and just makes it bigger. When you set the gain control down, it's just clean. So you can use it as just a pure clean booster, and you can slowly introduce that drive so you can cover all shades of overdrive from just barely pushed to really saturated when you crank that gain knob up. The only thing that I've found that this is not useful for, and this works into our caveat section, is that it's kind of bright for some people, even though we've reduced the overall treble. If you have a really bright amp, this is not a great circuit for that. And also, it does have a buffered bypass, which I think is a useful thing, but not everybody's pedal board is friendly with that. So be aware of it. But overall, I think for most guitarists, a circuit like this and the Mjolnir is a great thing to have in your arsenal because it's just so useful. It is unobtrusive in a way that still makes everything sound very musical and fun to play under your fingers, which ultimately is the most important part of any pedal, in my opinion. Now, lastly, we make a lot of different versions, and we have made a lot of different versions. The Mjolnir, seeing as it's been around for 13 some odd years now, is and has gone through many different looks and permutations. Used to, it kind of had this vibe. This is Mr. Rhett Scholl's. And he blew it up, so I fixed it. But it has the Zeus face on it there. It looked like this for a while in different size boxes. And we've done some different versions. One of the first versions we did, here's number one of this guy, the Wildwood Mjolnir. This one was very popular and slowly took off, and we have improved it, modified it over the years to now look like this. And this now is as close as we can physically get to sounding like my personal Klon Centaur, serial number 1666. I think that this, in a blind test, sounds and feels identical. We spent a lot of time tweaking small component values, nudging things in directions so that it really, into all the amps we have in the shop, sounded the same. I'm super proud of the circuit. It has everything that the original circuit has a charge pump, even has a battery clip, germanium diodes that are in the same range as the originals. It really, really sounds great and as close as you can get to that iconic pedal. Now, of this size and style, we do a few different others. There's now the germanium one. This is for Mass Street Music out in Lawrence, Kansas. This one, as well as the Joey Landreth that we've made in various versions over the years, are technically the same circuit as this. There's no charge pump, there's no battery clip or anything like that. But these are both germanium, and just the fact that they have a different circuit board changes the sound. And then you couple that with unique germanium diodes, and both of these are not the same. They each have different pairs of diodes. They have their own personality. The clipping diode in the Mjolnir is very important to its overall tone and character. And since all of these, every single one, has a different diode pair, they all sound a little different, even though some of them share the same basic topology. It's pretty interesting. But that's the gist of what we're making right now, as of the recording of this video. Undoubtedly, there will be more down the road. We've done a bunch of different versions, but they all kind of live in this camp. We'll do a video comparing this to these at some point, but for now, check out the demo. I'm using a PRS Silver Sky SE and a PRS SE 594. You guys get to check this out. Let me know what you think in the comments. The Mythos Mjolnir.